There's a clip going around of some like News Nation debate that happened. Did you guys see this? With the spokesperson for Turning Point USA. He's the guy who was like now the official spokesperson. Now that, since Charlie Kirk was killed, he's on the stage refusing over and over and over again to denounce what these guys said. And it's just incredible to like this is who we're told that we can't classify this group Turning Point USA as fascists or racists, but here they are, the spokesperson, the official guy who everyone was getting their official Charlie Kirk news from just last month when this all went down. That guy was refusing outright to denounce what they said. Even
we have the clip here. We have the clip here. Let's play it.
I want you to respond to what we heard from the question the last time, Adam, and then I'll give you another audience question. You said you had something you wanted to say in response to the American University guy who runs the Republican club there.
Guy on the left
said that
is
people
the Turning
came up
Point
and said they were happy that Charlie Kirk had been assassinated.
Yeah, I believe his name was Luke. He said that a bunch of young progressives were coming up and acting in insane ways. And as a young liberal, someone who's on the left, I just want to say I wholeheartedly condemn anybody who is saying insane things about Charlie Kirk, horrendous things about Charlie Kirk. Anyone who is spitting or shutting down conversation, that is not what America is about at all. And I can very easily condemn when my side is going off the rails, but I just ask the bare minimum from Andrew. When they're talking about gas chambers and group chats, can you condemn that?
Are we really going to do this again? No.
So you don't condemn it?
Your energy is so aggressive.
I love Hitler. Gas chambers.
All right, hold on.
You can't condemn that.
Just easy, buddy. Okay.
Your
so
energy
there is
is
a
so
whole
aggressive.
conversation that I want this to be attached to. Okay.
Oh,
and the whole
piss off.
conversation is that we have a guy who's running for attorney general in.
I condemn that. But you can't condemn your side.
But your party is not disavowing it. It still supports this guy.
Name one Democrat that supports him in Congress who says, I support what he said.
Tim Kaine just got asked on CNN tonight and said, yeah, I still support him.
Supports what he said?
No, he doesn't support what he said, but he's not pulling.
So no Democrat supports what he
so
said.
you're going to parse. Okay, well, listen. I condemn what they say, but I still support them.
Thank you. Why did I have to pry that out of you?
You are parsing. It's basically a distinction without a difference.
J.D. Vance lied on your podcast today. He said these were young.
Whoa, look.
Yeah.
Mockler's really good.
Bill O'Reilly had to jump in to stop the conversation.
That's because like these young Republican staffers, they are like the TPUSA model for like Republicans, like well integrated into like the normal Republican machine. And we're supposed to believe that they're not like this. And he doesn't want to alienate their audience, which is a lot of young Republicans, like young, again, in air quotes, who act this exact same way. Like he knows like this is just his audience. And I think that goes back to my initial point, which is that this is important for disabusing people of knowledge of the difference between the TPUSA type of Republican and like your average Groyper. That's just a difference of presentation and perhaps integration with the machine, because, the truth about a lot of that Charlie Kirk stuff is that like there was a willingness to pretend as though he was in favor of free speech, even as a large portion of his like platforms and prescription for society were stripping away people's free speech because he said it in a polite way. And now they can't even effectively weaponize his, death, his passing, his assassination, because within the month we have stuff like this happening. We have things like that just completely reveal the fact that the Republican Party are full of like incredibly violent people who are always doing things that like are meant to strip away people's freedom of speech. It's a facade.
And I just want to read their supposed apologies that Politico had, because it's exactly this has like real effects. I mean, we talk about leadership. Part of the reason we're in this situation is because Donald Trump has created this sense that nothing matters, and his version of democracy is basically just like, throwing chum to his base and acting a little unhinged and unpresidential, and people feel like his base at least has this like wish fulfillment where they feel represented by him as like saying the things they wish he could say, and then they'll say it in private. But what JD Vance is doing too, of like never apologizing, never giving in, never having a sense of shame, this is how they supposedly apologize in statements to Politico. These logs were sourced by way of extortion and provided to Politico by the very same people conspiring against me, he said. I believe, this is Giunta, who the bearded Peter Griffin that we showed earlier.
35-year-old guy in the middle of the picture.
Yeah. What's most disheartening is that despite my unwavering support of President Trump since 2016, rogue members of his administration, including Gavin Wax, have participated in this conspiracy to ruin me publicly simply because I challenged them privately. And then he apologized. I am so sorry to those offended by the insensitive and inexcusable language found within the more than 28,000 messages of private group chat that I had created during my campaign to lead the Young Republicans.
That's like 27,000 messages where we didn't even say we loved Hitler.
Yeah, while I take complete responsibility, while I take complete responsibility, I have no way of verifying their accuracy, and am deeply concerned that the message logs in question may have been deceptively doctored. And then this is another one of the apologies here. Oh wait, maybe I lost my spot. Oh yeah, there is no excuse for the language and tone in the messages attributed to me. This is Walker. The language is wrong and hurtful, and I sincerely apologize. This has been a painful lesson about judgment and trust, and I am committed to moving forward with greater care, respect, and accountability in everything I say and do. Nothing about the context of the message, because you know what they're doing in these so-called apologies? They're doing the same stuff they were doing in the group chat, appealing to the in-group. It's all secret coded messages. It's all cynicism. It's all smirking. These are the guys that you are like the smallest of men that can't make eye contact with you on the first date, but they run back to the group chat, or they'll act like they're in debate class with you. Constantly, every word in that apology is exemplifies weakness, because they're just looking for validation from other people in every part of it. It drips out of it. The pathetic nature of their whole soul and what they're trying to do here, how insecure they are. It just bleeds through the page, but they think they're strong.
I would like to enter into the record a comment from Andrew Torba, I think a Nazi guy who started Gab, right? Nazi social network thing. He had a very funny tweet. I don't think it was intentional. The real problem they have with the group chat is young men being young men. Like it or not, this is how we talk in our own spaces. Now, in our own spaces, like, did you go to like, liberal arts school for a little
bit? Our
like,
safe spaces.
like that?
I guess
UC Berkeley.
This is my
space. Fraternities, like this reminds me of like what I would hear secondhand from my guy friends that weren't horrible in fraternities, what other people would talk like.
Yeah, this is our space where we talk about loving Hitler in gas chambers. They make watermelon jokes. They want to utterly crush, demoralize, and emasculate any and all forms of male communication and camaraderie. I'd say mainly the stuff that glorifies Hitler, Andrew. That's why it is so important to never apologize for it, and frankly, to just start talking in public like we all do in private. Guess what? You ain't gonna, motherfucker. Do it. Try it, Andrew. Film it. Let's see it happen.
Do you think that you could be like 38 and still in the Hitler Youth? Or would they like go like that's too old?
I think they would tell you to get into the trenches.
Yeah. Well, look, the IDF did just try to expand its age limits, right? I believe to get more conscripts, because they have all the fatigue in their forces because it's so emotionally taxing to commit genocide. So that's actually kind of a modern example of that.
Within this entire conversation, the only youth involved was Adam Mockler.
Yes.
Who's 22 years old.
Meg MCA said these chat logs explain the male, quote, loneliness epidemic. Yes.
But for real. No, this is a real issue. This is why in part there's such like problems with like pairing up in couples, is because not all the young men, it's but a way bigger fraction than when I was that young are into this dumb shit. This and there was like edgelords on 4chan and stuff when we were younger, but it's metastasized and it is ruining their ability to engage in the world. Good luck. Go to fucking corporate. The only chance you can have to socialize is going to these psycho conservative conferences. Otherwise you're fucked.
Yep. The thing is, though, they don't realize that. Like they really think this time around, because they misunderstand how Donald Trump won, what made him win. They misunderstand just exactly how much he won by, thinking like he completely blew out Kamala Harris when it's not the case. They misunderstand that willfully, or because they're too dumb to understand politics. But they think they've actually won people over in like their culture. Like they think people voted for Donald Trump and are now fully on board this whole like the full backing of what ICE is doing, full backing of even like the cultural stuff they think is now the cool new thing to do, which is being an edgelord publicly now and praise Hitler and all this stuff. They really have convinced themselves that culturally in the mainstream they've won. But that's not the case. That's why they're doing this stuff, because they think they've won, or they're trying to convince themselves they've won that over. But it's just not true. Go out and say this stuff to even some normie that was tricked into voting for Trump. They're going to think you sound insane, because this stuff is not cool. This stuff is not fine. And this stuff still makes you a social pariah.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.